Hey, um, we're gonna start doing the Great Ace Attorney games. At least until tomorrow. Remember, alternate in between Great Ace Attorney and spooky games like Faith. I'm so excited! Streamlabs didn't apparently pick this up, so we're going with... Huh. So we're gonna go with... OBS. Should I have?
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great
Consider
waves
like,
of
should I like
influence
do
into
should the language sentence to Japanese to be more authentic? But then I realized I'm not a weeb. I prefer dubs are better than subs.
The land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Murder. Of course it's murder. The Great Departure. Yes, well that is one way to describe murder. Oh hey, that's one day before Doctor Who Day. Of course, Doctor Who wouldn't exist for another 100 years. I still can't believe it. Still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan waiting to decide my fate? The highest court in Japan? Let's hope it's fairer than the lower courts in Japan. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! Was he just like saying that shit out loud? He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you, haven't even graduated yet. Oh cool, look. This armband proves I'm a real lawyer. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. Ha 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 ha. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Yeah, okay, thank you, OBS. Ah. OBS flaked on me a couple of times, don't wanna fuck it up. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. I gotta know, were these games made before or after Dual Destinies? Because if so, that would mean these are the first Ace Attorney games with 3D graphics. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryunosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. Is he Miles Edgeworth's ancestor? But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. Wait a minute. Asogi. Maybe he's an ancestor of... Mia's got his headscarf. A star student. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. Exposition! My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Truly. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. The Meiji Restoration. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to go to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud, as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. He's gonna die, isn't he? That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Trust me, dude. You don't want it. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. That refers to Queen Victoria. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Guess I better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Is this how... God. What are you, couple of Westaboos? That was me. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Oh! Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Asogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocated for the defense, and this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. Oh hey, Maya. I shall accompany you. What the fuck is up with that smug expression? Alright then, Ryunosuke. See you in the courtroom. God, I don't know why, but like... The fact that the 3D models just makes this feel different. Yes, thanks, Kazuma. It's like I'm actually there. It's like I'm really there. Ugh, this is awkward. Yeah, forget being on trial for murder. Small talk, that's the real, tragedy. If I may. Yeah, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Forensics. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me all about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked. and never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected. You were unaware of this. A lot of pressure. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. There's always a bit of a... There's always some stakes. You always have something to lose when you defend someone in court. But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. I think I summoned something. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so just keep your mouth shut. Let your lawyer do the talking. As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will the question be? Surely not, do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant? The court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Whatever you say, faceless man. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. What? Of course, as defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? You want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving! No point anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway! Yeah, you can tell this is Meiji-era Japan. This is it. If the trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. Do you know that the Meiji Restoration is when the sailor school uniforms became popular? Because they were actually inspired by American school uniforms. Yeah, that's right. We are the originators of the Sailor Scout. And we will never be forgiven for that. With absolutely no idea what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. Although I actually find school cardigan to be, I think they look cute. Not like the sailor uniforms, but like school cardigan. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. This is my density. So this is a courtroom. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. Oh, the powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now... you need to concentrate, Ryunosuke. It's about to begin. This is... Is that Winston Payne? Whoa. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Hanahoto. I want to do a different voice for the judge this time. I'll try and make him sound a bit more like the judge in the anime. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. As is the defense.
Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate.
That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself.
Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior for trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial?
This is it. This must be the question.
Here is the question. Do you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, take Kazuma Sogi to be your lawfully wedded husband? That's right, this whole trial was a farce. You're married now.
But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Just do it. Do we have quick time events? Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense.
What is the meaning of this unruly outburst?
I would like to inform the court that I, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. It'll be...
What?
What are you playing at, Ryunosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. Why do you have a sword? Is he like planning on committing seppuku if he loses? Because that would be pretty morbid. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. No, it's not that, really. It's just that... Well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes, I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in.
Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial.
Well. Does the accused admit defeat already, renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that a defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? You're already translating to English. Why not just say Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, exactly. All according to Keikaku. Keikaku, of course, meaning plan. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Why are you holding your sword so... kind of fruity? Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. More like a most anus crime. Haha, fucking Naruhodo and Asogi fucking high five.
As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature in Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo?
Yes, Your Excellency.
It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken.
My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Oh, can I get an achievement where, like... Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. Can I get an achievement for picking the stupid option? Let's start with the simplest of questions. Oh, yes.
Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous. I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryunosuke. I'm the victim? Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank. You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of E. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. Just have to press E for the court record. Alright, no time to lose. Proof that I'm a student at the Imperial Yuma University. This pen proves that I'm a real student. That turns into people with E. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press Z. John H. Wilson. Is that John Wilson? Wait a minute. Like John Watson? So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press R to present. Try now. Okay, the victim, well, that's not right.
Yes!
So they do yes instead of take that. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson.
Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university.
Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yuma University 3 years ago.
Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire
Oh no!
is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally.
How long will that last?
And as most of you will be aware, we just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations.
There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. Is that a real thing? Was that a real thing? It's been a long time since I was in history. I was in history once. Only once. And you'll never be it again. I can't afford to be... I must get in history again.
And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil.
Hey look! Prosecutor badge.
You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial University. You mean university, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution provides your education. Have you no honor?
I didn't do it.
This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court, therefore, wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter.
In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. Execute him. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. Okay, that made it a bit louder. For some reason, the dial on my headphones are always a bit lower than I like. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. Did I accidentally kill Herlock Sholmes' assistant? But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime, holding a gun of all things. Oh dear, look at the time. I better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Yeah, I know. It's so cute core. It's so crikey core. Howdy core. It's so howdy core. Because remember, at this point, we would have fucking cowboys. Wow, the British Empire. It's incredible to think. Wait. No one would have suspected. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still. I should go and say hello. It was just supposed to be a simple meeting. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson.
Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
How did this professor of medicine, Dr. Johnny Twilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death.
The cause of death? Well, obviously that was, Ryunosuke. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death, and select present. Do it now. This one. Present. Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma.
Learn to read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it.
Sorry, yes, that's right.
Did Fucklock not tell you that report is outdated? I'll shove my entire toupee up your ass.
In the West, a doctor dissects a corpse to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Is that why most deaths are just listed as heart attack? Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be testing on any of this later.
This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of crime.
What do you mean, so-called? Have you not... Are you saying that this wasn't actually...
You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range.
Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into, the evidence.
Oh, cool, I can see... Oh, that's going to be so useful. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something. That's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail's incredible. How long have photographs existed? Like, this is the turn of the century? United States should be, like, finished with the Civil War, I think. So, wouldn't, it just be about... I don't fuck. I'm satisfied with your answers.
Let us start the trial.
What? Praise the sun.
Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened.
Ugh. This is it, then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes. Clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant, counsel, co-counsel, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said... Kazuma Sogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. It's like in the Better Call Saul, when Saul Goodman, he defended himself, but he also had a co-counsel. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. You know, the headband is actually accurate. Although it wouldn't look like that.
Witness, state your name and occupation for the record, please.
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a restaurant, Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival. Cancer? Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, He did it. It is a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really should.
As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago.
Understood. Hasanaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident.
At once, sir.
And no petty interjections from the aspirant lawyer boy, please.
Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot ran out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. Maybe you shouldn't say yes in response to that. Well, while I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him. Well,
I believe I ask you to refrain from petty interjections. I have the right to... The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur.
but...
The next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo.
Don't worry, Yonosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must quietly listen to the witness.
If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today.
Yes, without question.
I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table? What's the matter, Ryunosuke? I wonder, do I have... Yeah, voices on. Okay. Text skip. Wait. Nope, no fucking text speed. Unless that's what wait time is supposed to mean. I don't fucking know. That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, she did it. There was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. Yeah, but they're not exactly going to trust you because apparently the testimony of a witness isn't... I've been warned about interjection, but still, what should I do? Quick save. Save. What? Oh, that's not the slot. This is the slot. What? Wait and see. Play it safe. What's the worst that could happen? I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Ryunosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? My parents are dead. I suppose I am. I'd never have gotten into university otherwise. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. Alright, you've scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just gonna shut my eyes and say it. Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this student, is not a real lawyer after all?
But I'm sure of what I saw. Hosonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. He's lying through his teeth. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like.
Let, let me see. Sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume.
That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Did we have telephones yet? It was probably... I don't know. Were telephones invented in the late 1800s or the early 1900s? Because if so, that business card, probably like his address. Just gonna dox yourself.
Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter.
Thank you, Your Honor, Your Excellency. Bump.
The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence.
Oh, well.
Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once.
Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. Is it because of it's not his business card? Is it someone else's? Wait a minute, this isn't a business card. This is pornographic imagery. It is called hentai, and it is art.
So, the court has now heard a precis of the case.
A precis?
Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here.
Cross-examine. Cross-examine.
Defendant Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you're determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime.
But if those witnesses were present at the scene of the crime, they could also be suspects. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? Seriously, in this economy, everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you just going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryunosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is.
Indeed. Prosecutor Ouchi, please continue with the proceedings.
Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, maybe call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witness.
Very well, officer, bring forth the witnesses at once.
Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. The Great Nippon Imperial Army's Sergeant Ayasunosa. Reporting for duty, sir.
Myself, I find employed as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the effervescence of our nation, Nippon. and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District, Curio Korakuta, at your service. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing.
Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question.
They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned.
Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business.
I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He is an antique dealer. It sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques, and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with a rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer.
Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war. Sir!
He reminds me of... like a... I don't want to say it, but... Is that fucking Omni-Man?
It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. I want to see pictures of Spider-Man. You're fired. My son, the astronaut, fired.
But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier was claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? I'm starting to get... If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. This trial longer than the other first trials? I don't...
Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred.
Was that a baby?
Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon.
I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed.
That's a fucking baby. Who brought their baby in here?
I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. A black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, that cowardly little weasel.
I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of mysteriously absconded precious curio.
Uh-huh.
Well, so you, Sergeant Nosha, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim.
Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. University cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy.
Sorry, I had eggs for breakfast. Eggs and toast.
What times you live in when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day?
But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryunosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant. When I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. You noticed the gun before you noticed the dead body? I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... Bang. Well, if that's the truth, there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. Oh, I gotta find the way that they contradict each other. Ryunosuke, You must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now.
As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It's time to bring this despicable student to justice.
Certainly, the testimony of the court decided eliminates any vestiges of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this.
You mean objection? You mean hold it?
What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst?
I mean, the defense demands its rights to a cross-examination.
Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic.
I had to fart. Better out of the attic than the basement. That makes more sense than better out than in. What the fuck does that mean, Shrek? What the fuck does that mean? Better out of the attic than the basement. That makes more sense. Hume Neutron? He based. How did he know?
The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Kazuma is so commanding.
Very well. Let the defendant conduct a cross-examination of the witness.
Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryunosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witness's statements. How? Was that a phone dial? You didn't fire the gun, which means what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it. And the key to doing that is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryunosuke. Don't let them beat you.
Alright then.
It's all or nothing. What the witnesses saw. Oh, those are my points.
I was investigating a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
Seriously? Yes, instead of hold it? That makes no sense.
Why aren't you saying it? Is this some new interrogation technique?
I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. Just ask about anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you. Alright then, this beefsteak you mentioned. What kind of food is that?
Teen Sean. Ah! Beefsteak is a delicious cut of veal, vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot.
Oh.
If food could receive bottles of water, beefsteak
What's the fuck with the baby?
beefsteak would be almost as highly decorated as a cutlet.
Right, I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. This cutlet you mentioned. God damn it.
Cutlet is delicious cut of veal, tossed in breadcrumbs, and deep fried in coconut oil. Accept your guilty verdict. Atone for your crimes. Will be released from prison. Swear it.
Yes, sir, I will. Yes, sir. On the double, sir. Sorry to interrupt, but seriously, what is with this baby girl holding the sword pose? How about trying to stick to questions that are relevant to the case? I wanted to ask about the business you were discussing, about what you were talking about with the fucking other guy. So, next question. Don't do it. Is it just me, or do you keep hearing a sort of whack crying noise?
Negative.
He's holding a baby. He's holding a baby behind him. There's a baby on his back. Well, at least we've learned that he's a big beef lover. Affirmative. It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. Oh, I got an achievement. Seriously, what is that? Is it my phone? I don't think it's my phone.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman.
Oh, hey, he's holding a brass. That's brass. I have no idea what you're talking about.
A Coban, boy.
A Coban? Pan Cubano. Cuban sandwich. You mean an old Edo coin? Edo.
The day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoei period entered my possession. Took myself to the restaurant the following day with the said item secreted in my bosom pocket. In the hope of affluent cognizant praised of his being. I do not have the energy for this. So you were hoping to sell your Koban coin to Sergeant Nosa, whom you met at the restaurant?
Yes, it's quite clear where you're going with this, boy. You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious Koban. Isn't that so?
Well...
You little absurd cadet! You want to add disrespect to a superior officer to your list of crimes, do you?
Hey, rule of law, everyone...
Blatant subordination.
Everybody is equal under the law. No, I didn't say anything. Although penniless might just be the word I was looking for.
In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that and the midday luncheon. There remained a precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business.
I hate having to read the bullshit this guy's saying.
The gentleman beside me, who was grappling with his braised veal at the time, was my sole prospect.
I see. Could have sworn I heard something. Is that in the game, or is it my phone? If it was my phone, it'd be louder.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes.
I'm not agreeing with you, I'm pressing you. For some reason, this guy says yes. Like, so you're saying you actually saw me at that time? Like, I guess yes would be the opposite of objection, but still.
Affirmative. I saw you. Laughing, cackling, like a madman as you trained the barrel of your gun on this English civilian.
But that's impossible. I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please.
What is that, Private?
Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table.
And so what if it was?
Well, if that is the case, it would mean that you didn't, in fact, see the precise moment when the killer fired the gun. Okay, nothing, no phone notifications. Luigi fell over. When the killer actually fired the gun.
Gah! And double arg! My sixth sense. Fired. My son, the astronaut.
Sorry?
My sixth sense of danger. I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiated from your foul mind. He's a menace. Spider-Man. Which means a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, cadet.
Surely that's not really possible, is it?
Do you think I'd gone around today in the army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son?
Well, it would seem the soldier's absolutely convinced they decided to do the deed. I feel like I feel like he's looking at me with bedroom eyes. This is not good.
The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and for the back, the cowardly little weasel.
So this black uniformed university cadet, you're saying that was... Let me look at the record of this thing. What does the, So, is that me, or is that the victim? Wait a minute. Wait. Autopsy report. Gunshot wound to the chest. Oh my god, contradiction.
I had just about out for your sauce, cadet. Who else do you see around here in black uniform?
Well, there's someone standing right next to me who fits the description as well, but...
It was you little weasel. You went over the firearm on that man. From behind his back, and you call yourself a citizen of the great Emperor Nippon. You disgust me. Voice.
What is it, Ryunosuke? I'm not quite sure. Something that the sergeant just said, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's playing on my mind. I know what it is. In that case, check back over the details of the evidence you've gathered in the court record. And if you find any inconsistency there with what the witness just said, then don't hold back. Alright, present the evidence to the court. Thrust it in the witness's face, and make him choke on it. Alright. Hands and knees. Hey, I know who else would be... fuck. From the back? You say he fired from the back? Yes! No! That's the wrong... Why can't you just say objection like a normal person?
What are you playing at, cadet? Where's the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting this wad of paper is in my mustache.
Inconsistency. Sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here.
What nonsense. What can this document possibly tell us that we don't already know?
Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out. What? Tries hard, but the words won't come out. He's choking out. Everybody's choking out. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over. Blow.
I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom.
God, this is so frustrating. Me when I play literally any game. And there's like, I love video games. They make me angry. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Cosmo, what?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from a single glance at the post-mortem report presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant Ayasanosa.
Yes, sir. What, sir?
The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir. Yes.
I mean objection. But no, that just can't be it.
And why not, cadet?
Because... As is clearly stated in the post-mortem report, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. This photographic print of the victim clearly shows the same thing. I was shot at the front. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it?
Oh, I knew it, baby. Well,
don't do that to the baby! What the What? Who let his baby in here? Something just popped up from behind his back and pushed down. That's the fuck. Why is the baby here?
Certainly, there's a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Also, what the fuck, baby? Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa?
Yes, sir. At this juncture, the would-be appear to be undisputable. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were...
That's a fucking...
firmly fixated on the delicious carnival steak. Sir. What?
The last testimony the court heard was proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. That a, cutlet is a cut of veal coated in breadcrumbs and fried in oil. This witness, Sergeant Ayasenosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all.
That's absurd.
I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Ooh, sick burn.
Yeah.
Nice. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial, just from that one discrepancy. Wait, I didn't see the back. I didn't see the back of his... There was a baby there, wasn't there? There was a baby on his back. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. I guess you could say this is in the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. But I definitely saw him.
The university cadet here. He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
I mean, no, I wasn't. Seriously, stop saying yes. It's fucking me up. But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor.
And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either. Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure.
My knees hurt from sucking dick. What were you too busy What were you sucking dick or something? My knees hurt from sucking dick. You're supposed to use your mouth. Treasure?
The trash! Treasure. Indeed, the Hoyera Koban. My prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop prostitute.
In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you?
On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man that I proffered my Hoey treasure. Believed that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not, but I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished.
The Koban vanished?
Hunting down under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened.
You heard the gunshot, you mean?
Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoey treasure. Nothing could distract me.
Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end?
No.
I see.
That lamentable day, the precious Hoey Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself.
The baby swallowed it. The baby ate it. Baby ate the coin.
As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution.
How long have we been here, Your Honor? 1 hour? I can handle this. I can handle this.
Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon.
It's going to be a pain to translate. I feel sorry for the stenographer. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels, it must be to the British. It must be to the British. It would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now.
What is your position, Prosecutor Ashi?
Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back.
What?
My witnesses have further testimony to make.
Explain.
Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there was only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. the equally despicable defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. What?
He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he?
Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Kirika glass, Your Excellency.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Waiting signal to testify, sir.
Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think.
Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido.
It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Oh, fuck. Is this guy like Gumshoe? Like, he has no money? No fucking money?
Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy.
Yeah, it's not...
Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, pointing his gun at the foreman he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did say.
Furthermore, a visual source of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
These testimonies...
Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all.
Please, enough of these outbursts already.
But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone must have seen her.
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident.
So I got your reasonable doubt right here, boyo.
The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact.
Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, Counsel?
Beef.
Indeed, of the table on which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there is only one place set.
Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else.
This doesn't make any sense.
The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record.
The photographic print of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. Bottle of carbonated water and a steak lunch. Ew, carbonated water? I don't understand.
If you don't like carbonated water, then that means you drink too much soda. You don't appreciate the angry static flavor of carbonated water. Tastes like angry TV static, and I love it. It is like fucking... What's going on here? I'm just talking about how I hate carbonated water. It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimonies we've just heard leave no further room for doubt.
These are very sensitive political times, as we all know.
Oh, buddy, you've got a big storm coming.
The ink is still very fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takasuchi Alchi, will have contributed to the enmity of these two great empires is an honor.
How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Cross-examine. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? if what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma.
The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witness, but make it quick. Understood?
Rules can be so unbending at times.
Does somebody fall off a roof?
Even if what I saw wasn't the precise man with the fire and mustache, it's almost the same thing.
Yes, but pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black, I myself much did see.
Well, you were crawling. Seriously, you gotta stop saying this. Yes, it may be true that I was holding a gun at that point. God damn it, that's not what you're supposed to that's only because I picked it up off the floor.
Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away.
I just finished drinking my coffee, and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, a gunshot rang in my ears.
Full of events beyond our control, life is.
Sorry? What do you mean?
In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this test and predicament. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and find myself in an equally tested predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains. Myself, I did see you. With pistol in hand, standing over the floor.
Why does everyone have a sword? That would be like if, this game took place in, Wild Wild West, and all the lawyers had guns.
Furthermore, visual search the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present.
Tell me more. You must have noticed something else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. Not the question you should be... Oh my god, shut the fuck up, Winston.
As you have been at pains to point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. And yet, no one else appears to have had even a glimpse of this woman.
If only there'd been more people dining there at the time, then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner at any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty. So you'd expect...
Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone.
Yes, Your Excellency. There was indeed a reason.
There was?
This was found in the victim's jacket pocket.
What is that, Counsel?
It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant.
At a clinic?
Oh, no.
Yes, there would appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m.
The very day of the incident. I hate having to schedule shit.
So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case.
I wonder. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Huh? Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's medical report prior to be submitted as evidence or not? Yes. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency.
On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to this arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Ooh. See, why can't I say that? Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues.
I beg your pardon?
You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. I've already figured out how to do this. I'm experimenting with different voices.
Very well. The court will grant the defense's request.
Heh. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing
Average boomer meme. The average right wing meme be like,
Officer, kindly ask add the victim's medical report to the court record.
the victim's medical report card has been entered in the court record. That'll be important. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. You kind of got man titties. Man. Right, I hear you.
You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, when it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accursed Korakuta-san.
Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Therefore, no one other than the black uniform cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out!
I guess I'll press him on this just to be safe. So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone?
That I did. Forgive me for the position I placed you in.
So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beef steak on the victim's table. A meal for one.
No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Sorry doesn't re-swab those urethras. You think I like swabbing urethras? I guess it depends on the urethra. Nope, they're all bad. But I swab them all the same because it's my job. But unlike your job, which is actually very important, unlike your job, which could be done by a Roomba. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible.
Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's just not a case of these two witnesses alone.
Sorry?
The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone.
That's right.
Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady.
But I...
If such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time.
I'm looking at the evidence. Let's see. Crime scene photograph. No, I don't see anything to suggest that there's a fucking... Like, that's the victim. What else is there? A sketch of the restaurant's layout. But none of that suggests... I don't have any evidence that suggests there was someone else at the table. Yet. There's nothing I can say to that. Wait a minute. Wait. Court record. Damn it, why doesn't it say the time? I remember the date. It was the 19th. And the time of death. Oh, shit. 19th of November! Oh. If he had a fucking meeting with his doctor, it would have been on that day. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. I knew it. Oh, you mean this? Yes. This is a brand new piece of evidence. So perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. If Phoenix Wright was added to Smash, you could have fucking Kazuma and Ryunosuke as Mii sword fighter costumes. How exactly? You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. These are the ones you may examine. Press space and you can take a closer look at the piece in question. Ah, use blah 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 blah. Oh, yo, Wacid. Oh, so this is not that conducive to fucking. Maybe I should play this with a controller. You can move the crosshairs to hunt around for clues that may have been missed before. If the crosshairs start to pulsate, press space to investigate further. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. You got it, boss. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I need to use to inspect any areas of the evidence that look suspicious. Medical report card. Oh! What's that? Now we can open it. All these visits. Let's have a look. Oh my god! What happened, Ryunosuke? We turned into JPEGs! This is some kind of medical history. There's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. I can't be on my laughing gas whenever I have dental work. I'm like allergic to it or whatever. So I just have regular anesthesia. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia. Although it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you feeling pain. Like, they just inject, like, some kind of numbination into my gums. They rub it on my teeth. And then they just drill into the teeth. And it's not that painful. It's just kind of irritating. It's just kind of uncomfortable. Your fear of the dentist will subside as you get older. Don't worry about it, kids. There's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Really? So that means the steak wasn't for him! Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. On the day of the murder. Alright, with this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. So I think it's time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. God, I love these two gay lawyers. Even what I saw wasn't the precise moment. It was almost the same thing. Pointing his gun at the foreign man. Furthermore, a visual cert. We were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone was the Englishman, dining all by himself. He wasn't dining because he couldn't eat. Still awkward, huh? Well, I think, You are doubt! What are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could. But first and foremost here, I'm the accused. You're only defending yourself because you ask that you do. And, like, I think I gotta look up if there are any specific laws of self-representation. Because, like, surely that is within your rights. You know, right to a trial, right to a lawyer, right to remain silent. That means the opposite holds true. You have the right to, like, deny a lawyer, or, like, you have the right to speak and incriminate yourself. Sure, you should have the right to represent yourself. Don't know why you would do that, unless you were, like, already a lawyer. Or if you, like, hated lawyers. Ryunosuke. I guess maybe that would be helpful in, like, a fucking civil court case. If you wanted to sue someone. Wouldn't need a lawyer for that. This is not actual legal advice. Don't always get a lawyer. Always request a lawyer. Everyone stumbles on their words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in that cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that, so purposefully, you knew exactly what it is you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. All right, and thanks for the advice. Korakuta-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim.
Oh, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy?
Baby, comparing what is written on this report card with your witness statement. Slap. Something clearly doesn't add up.
Dear me, have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur?
Sorry, what?
You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon when the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant.
Gah, but that's... Remember, Rinosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point.
Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There was surely no need to prolong this trial further.
Objection! Objection, 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 objection.
The witness testimonies the court have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could possibly have purposed the card.
Objection! This medical report card has nothing to do with the case. Do you really believe that?
What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant?
Perhaps because Hada Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic.
A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me?
Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted.
What's this now?
And furthermore, if I told you that as a result the victim had been forbidden from eating...
What are you trying to say, Cadet?
There really should be a fucking anime adaptation of the other Ace Attorney games. At least like a fan anime. There's gotta be like some kind of fan adaptation.
What are you trying to say, Cadet?
There was a fucking like fan series of Phoenix Wright My Little Pony crossover, and it's fucking awesome, and you should check it out. There are 2 of them, Turnabout Storm and Elements of Order.
He had orders not to eat, so what?
It's all written up here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off.
What? No, that can't...
Ha, now who's in the cold sweat? Korakuta-san.
What, boy? What?
As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eaten anything at all.
No.
Additionally,
there's more.
You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. Expertly done, partner. See the baby now.
Wait, what is this nonsense? You little upstart. I object. That was an objection and conjecture. These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Yes, but how do we know that the victim was eating the food? Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? Smell the coffee.
How dare you?
I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Well, how the turntables. Wouldn't you agree, Yunosuke? Yes, most definitely.
So, having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beefsteak? Woman. The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel. Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? All right, the answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been me, an as of yet unknown party. I gotta know. I have to know if I can get an achievement for doing the stupid answer. Come on. Come on. Me? I think it may have been me. What? But you took his meal as well. And some people seem to think they can say whatever they like. Ryunosuke. Sorry, you're right. Of course I didn't eat it. Next time you make a quip like that, I'll make you eat your words. I'll make you eat those words. And you'll be needing some dental surgery yourself. Oh, alright, I get the message. I'm gonna make out with you, so you won't be able to say stupid shit. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
You mean objection? There was, because I saw her. Seriously, why the fuck are you saying yes? When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Are we sure? Gameplay, subtitles, textbook, screen flashes, vibration, key, reader, back to title, exit game. We know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything, yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair trial. Relentless. They won't answer. Do you think something like that ever works? Demanding to speak to the man. That never works, dude. You know what happens if you do that? They'll say no. I demand a fair trial. No. That's how it's going to happen.
You would take on the government?
Don't worry, counsel. I have no issue with you. I would have a fucking, change.org petition. What do you mean? Hi there. Would you like to sign my petition?
What do you mean?
I have issue with them. Those two witnesses on the stand. I have an issue with the prosecutor. What?
What are you talking about?
I don't have an issue with the baby. We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? Yeah, it's when you lie in court. Me when I lie. Lying. Mischief. Do a little trolling. Lollygagging. And since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit in murder? Oh. Nice. Aw, even the baby's breaking down. We don't want the baby. The baby.
Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. That's outrageous. Done. I was just following orders.
You do not want to use that defense, bro. Just say you never saw the animal. That's what they, told us. What? What did you just say, Kurokuda-san? Oh, no, you were just following orders. Prosecution, snitches get stitches. No, hold on, lad, I was, saying you never saw the gentlewoman. When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What? All right.
What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements. You don't know about this? Is this true, you pair? Just one. Just one simple snip of the tongue. Just a little bit of lying. It's just a little lying. Your Honor, well, the perjury, it was ironic. It was a silly goof. Your Honor, my client is a silly little guy. Explain what was going on here. It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth. Oh, spacebar.
Absolutely not. The prosecution knows nothing of this.
Slap. Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Yes, you see, it was I. No, wait, that's not yet.
That's classified.
So you prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you? Snitches get stitches, son. That's the code of the... That's the soldier's code. Bushido code. Snitches get stitches.
You wouldn't. This can't be happening.
My J. Jonah Jameson voice is slipping.
Jameson, you slime. Who takes the pictures of the Spider-Man? I don't know. This stuff comes in the mail. Parker. She touched my jeans.
You did, Big Coom?
You bet. Zooey mama.
Ryunosuke. Judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Alchi had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. It could only have been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose? See, this is more my speed. Living in a police state. Much like real life. Any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence the witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. But how? How can we possibly... Deus Ex Machina? Remember how we made progress before? Before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh, yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? The business card. We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we've missed. It was the waiter! The butler did it! There's no time to lose. Alright.
I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty is be severe.
Please, wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing.
This game takes in Japan. We mean... Wouldn't he just say, I swear to every god? Because Shinto's already the state religion, was the state religion of the Empire of Japan. I swear to every... Like, fucking... Like, I wouldn't say, I swear to American God. God, I can't believe they canceled that show. That was a good-ass show.
I knew nothing.
And what does the defense have to say about all this?
Just give me a moment. Well, Your Excellency. No time to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes to my head. Let me look at that court record. Business card. Oh. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Oh, look. Police badge. Well, that's unexpected. What is it? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence, if they're wielding it somehow here. Alright. It was Hosonaga. He told them to keep their mouths shut. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witnesses is this guy.
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hosonaga-san. Hosonaga? The waiter who took the stand earlier? Poppycock! What possible reason would the waiter have to make his witnesses give false testimony? Could have just said, I swear to the gods. I swear to the gods. That would have worked. Don't need to specify that it's Shinto. We know. It's Japan. And hey, Shinto isn't even dead. It's not dead religion. It's still practiced in Japan. What possible reason would the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were? I really hope this game has, like, a cowboy from America. Come on. Come on, Ryunosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hosonaga-san's real identity is proven by this, right here. The business card.
The plan of the restaurant sketch by the man in question. I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure if we can conclude anything.
Sorry, Your Excellency. That's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest.
I beg your pardon?
Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. I wonder, how did they preserve evidence before the invention of Ziploc bags? Do they just, like, preserve it in resin? Do they laminate it?
Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say?
Guess they just didn't give a shit about preserving evidence, right? It's like the technical comment, there's a crime scene. Okay, let me get my hands all over the body so I can find out how this guy died. I'm touching the body. Oh, blood? Gross. Mop it up. Now then, I'll draw some chalk around the body. That way we'll know where it was.
Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say?
Hosonaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of this business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession.
The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious!
That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads, Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau.
What? The waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before?
The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as regular citizens are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene?
Well...
Oh, hey. Inspector Hosonaga. Inspector Hosonaga. I was worried something like this may happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. Undercover cop. Oh, well... Oh, yes, I remember now. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It is my guiding principle. Hey, wait a minute. Is this guy the ancestor of Shelley D. Killer? He reminds me of him, doesn't he? But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. Well, in any case, he's very clearly an homage to the bellboy from the first game. It was an unusually careless mistake.
So, you mean to say you really are a detective?
But why would a detective be working at a restaurant waiter? Undercover. Ah, of course! Your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. But yes, my salary is also terrible. Undercover. Yes, there have been a series of incidents at the restaurant recently. In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified personal lease information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. However, I can say categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Well, he murdered a British guy. I'd hardly call it homicide since, I wouldn't exactly call it killing a person. Okay, I am so.
Very well then, Inspector Sanaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court.
That was a joke. I'm sorry, British people. I love Doctor Who, and I wish England were real. Of course, Your Excellency.
We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you had also been aware of this person's presence, having been served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as a police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Would that be correct?
Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. Bang. Bang, bang, in the room. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair. Beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. Fucking white woman immunity. You'd rather accuse one of your fellow countrymen than a white woman? I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once? Why, what is she, the Prime Minister? It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Oh my god, she's the Queen of England! Those were my orders. At this point in time, the British Empire still had jurisdiction over India, so Queen of England was also the Queen of India. Last monarch of India was King Henry the Fifth, I think. I don't know. He was the one who declared war on Nazi Germany during World War II. But again, it's very interesting seeing this game set at this era, right before the start of the 20th century, and right before, which would of course mean it's also before the start of one of the worst wars in history, one of the most destructive wars ever. And Japan, they played a small part in it. They attacked some islands. Japan should take the islands. And you technically fought, so you got to bid to the biggest at the League of Nations. The Empire of... Oh shit, I didn't read that, so I was too busy quoting Bill Wirtz and info dumping about history. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect. But that would be, well, without irrefutable evidence. That would be completely out of the question. Why not? Why not? Surely that would be less of a scandal than if a Japanese person were to kill an Englishman. Two English people, they were English on English crime. Yeah, that's normal. That's expected. Japanese on English crime, that's a scandal. Alert Fox News. Alert the Daily Mail. Alert fucking Jordan B. Peterson, because we need to secure the border. We're under attack from the English. Yeah, you thought I was going to say the other way? Fuck you. Well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right! One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Cosima? Yuma University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young English woman. What? Don't tell me it's Dahlia Hawthorne. You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the Overseas Studies Tour. Huh? You mean... When I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. Then the court demands you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle. She is indeed a foreign student, studying in the research laboratory of Yuma University's medical faculty.
What is happening here?
I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered these witnesses to make no mention of their testimonies. It must now be up to Your Excellency to decide how to deal with this situation.
Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise, namely that the victim was dining alone. However, as you have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the noon deadline of a rule in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions.
I don't give a shit.
Calm yourself, counsel. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings of my courtroom.
Listen, I don't exactly know how, constitutional monarchies work, but, is there a judge? At this point, Japan wasn't a ceremonial monarchy. The monarch did hold more power, so... Does the monarch preside over Supreme Court cases, or are there specific judges? Guess there are some specific judges, according to this game. In real life. I mean, we have the judge in the fucking modern-day Japan, right? The original Japanese version of the Ace Attorney games that take place in Japan, and there we got a judge.
Inspector Asanaga.
Yes, sir.
You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency.
At once, Your Excellency.
But that means you'll be going against the special orders you were given from the police bureau.
As I said before, hey, it is my guiding principle to carry out all investigations flawlessly. The Supreme Court's word is law. So it won't be a problem. Bless you.
Nothing will get in my way. Court will adjourn briefly. The prosecution must call the English student Giselle Brett to the witness stand. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Your Excellency.
Good. Then we'll have a 30-minute recess before reconvening.
I think it's a good... I think I should... Yep, okay. Later, guys. This game looks really fun. I can't wait to check out more of it.